Hi, this is Chris with Fischer Workshops. If you like this tooling artwork, you can download a printable PDF copy at fischerworkshops.com. I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching. I lightly dampen the leather before tracing the image I drew onto the piece of leather. I also recommend using some strong packing tape on the reverse side. This will help prevent the leather from stretching later after tooling. I like to cover the damp leather with a piece of plastic wrap and place my printed artwork over the wrapping to trace. The wrap protects the paper from getting damp while tracing the image onto the leather. If you'd like to try to carve this particular art pattern, you can visit my website to download a PDF copy at fischerworkshops.com. I only tape down one end because I'll need to be able to lift the tracing image as I go to make sure I transfer all the artwork onto the leather before removing. Using an art stylus, I proceed to trace over the lines of the artwork. This will create a faint but visible trace image that's embedded into the leather. Go over your work several times to ensure that you didn't miss any lines while tracing. Now I'm going to carve over the embedded traced image with a swivel knife. I'm going to start by first carving out the border. Using a swivel knife does take some practice, but making sure the knife is sharp and the leather is sufficiently damp will ensure a cleaner cut. When dampening the leather, I try to get it wet enough to soak halfway through the leather, but not all the way through. I then wait about 5 minutes for the water to be evenly distributed in the leather before carving. While carving, if my knife starts to drag, it may need to be sharpened again, or the leather is getting too dry and more water may need to be added. From here, I'll carve out the rest of the artwork. Carving long curves is the most challenging for me, so I recommend practicing a lot on scraps before using a nice piece of leather. There's literally tons of stamping tools you can buy to tool leather artwork with. On floral artwork, I like to start with these lifters that are used along the petals of the flower. As their name implies, this tool slightly lifts the indentations around the petals for a nice effect. I'll be using these bevelers to stamp a bevel along all the lines in my artwork. On 3 of my flowers, I'll use the center flower stamp. I'll use this thumbprint stamp throughout the tooling process for a variety of purposes. This tool works great for blending in the flower's center with the petals for a smooth transition. Next, I like to add some extra detail with a camouflaging stamp. Here I'm creating some dips in the petals with a thumbnail stamp. I've punched holes in 2 of the center flowers that I'll put a turquoise rivet in later. Now I'll continue to bevel the rest of the lines in my artwork. I'm going to use several bar grounders to stamp out the background. With most of the tooling done, I'm going to stamp in a few finishing details and use my swivel knife to add some detail to the flowers and vines. Now I want to carefully paint in the background with black dye. I'll do the same with the surrounding border. After I finish staining the artwork, I'll apply several coats of sheen as a resist. After the sheen is dried for an hour or more, I'll apply some antique stain. I'm going to gently apply the stain with a soft brush and wipe it off with a soft cloth. The stain will fill in the deeper areas of the artwork to bring out some of the details. I strongly recommend testing a small area before covering the whole project. If the resist isn't fully dry, the antique stain may damage your artwork. As I wipe away the stain, you can see where it is filled in and highlighted some of the details of the tooling I did. When I've finished, I apply another coat or two of glossy sheen to protect the finish.